Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. I am going to try to make the tassel video. Several people have asked me for it, so I'm going to try to do it. Now you know I don't really like to do tutorials. I'm trying to learn how to do them, but that's not what my channel is really all about. I will show you how I do it, and hopefully you can learn something from that. But before we get started, I'd like to read God's word. But I better put my glasses on. Whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. Proverbs 1:33. I am come a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. John 12:46. Amen. All right. I don't have any shout outs with this video because I filmed another video earlier that will go up in the morning, and you'll see the shout outs then. So these are the tassels that I have made. I made this one today. And this bow is really crooked. You don't have to put a bow on here. You could put anything you want, really. If you want just to tie something on here and, you know, dangle some charms from it, you could do that. But this is one. Here's a Christmas one. Here's another Christmas one. This has one of my little charms dangling from up here. Here's one with that needs something around the middle with this little bow and pretty Christmas tree bead. Here's this brown one. I really like this one. I'm going to untie the bow. I really like this one. It's got a bead from an old bracelet that I found, you know, hidden treasures. And the rest are some beads from my collection. And then I put this lobster claw with a jump ring on it. It has its own jump ring, and I cannot remove this. Once this particular one is on here, this doesn't open, for one thing, and then this is actually sewn in with the beads. So if I try to take this off, the whole thing is going to fall apart. This is another one made with the same mechanism. This claw clasp with its own jump ring, and same thing. If it falls, if you try to take this off, the whole thing's gonna fall apart. But this would make it easy, like to hang from a journal if you want to put an eyelet in, or just I don't have them handy. I thought I had. Oh, right here. These little, I think they're called bulldog clips. You could hang this, you know, you can hook this on here like this, and then just put it on your journal spine, and you don't have to put any holes in it. This one has a jump ring, so I could add one of these to it if I want to. So there's just a combination, different colors, different ways you put different combinations of beads. Now I just started making these maybe 2 weeks ago. I saw them, the videos that inspired me to do this, I wrote them down. I don't want to tell you wrong, and I will list them in my description box. Was Leslie from Labor of Love, spelled L-U-V, and Strawberry Cream 39. Now, this is not a new idea. This has been around for a while, because the first video that I liked was 5 years ago, and the second one was just within the last few months. So like I said, it's not a new thing. It's new to me. It's something new that I'm learning, but it's been around for a while. You know, there's all kinds of ways to make tassels. Today I saw a video I don't know if it was a short or just a short video from the paper monkey, Carrie the paper monkey, and she was flipping through a Christmas journal that had a beautiful tassel on it that she had made, and it was made more in, you know, not in this style with, you know, ribbons and beads, beautiful beaded dangles and charms. So there's many different ways. I like this way. I think it's because I've tried to make them with the fabric, and I had some out, but again, I don't know what I did with them. Oh well, it doesn't matter. But I've kind of gone through an evolution of how I make these. So we're gonna make 2 together today. And unfortunately, things that you need to have some things to make this. You know, you can't just sit down at your craft desk and you've got these supplies handy. And unfortunately, it is a little bit of investment. These are called bubblegum beads. They do come in a few different sizes. These here are the large ones. They're 22 millimeters. I believe this might be 18 or 16. It must be 18. And then I include some other smaller little beads with it. So they're a little bit of an investment. They are cheaper if you buy them. If you shop at Temu, they are cheaper on Temu. However, most of the beads come from local warehouses, so you have to pay the shipping. If you buy several, and they're about $9 for a set. Amazon's prices for the almost same exact beads are quite a bit more than that, but you don't pay any shipping on them and you get them right away. So it's half a dozen of one, a dozen of the other. The other thing I saw on Amazon today, and I'm going to try to get these, they have an assortment of, I think, 200 beads of the bubblegum beads, different colors, and different, you know, kind of different looks on the beads. And for that one, I think it's $19, which I think is a great buy, and I'm going to try to get that for myself because it's got an assortment of colors and has some other little added things that go in with it. So you have to invest in the beads. If you choose to use embroidery floss or embroidery thread, whatever you want to call it, you can buy it in bulk on Amazon or Temu or any of those places, and it's very, very cheap. It's not the good cotton that you buy DMC. It's polyester, but it doesn't matter for the making of these charms. The other thing I like to use is embroidery thread, which these 2 were both made out of. And it's embroidery thread size C. It's really a perfect size. The thing is, it's stiffer than the embroidery thread, so to me, it just doesn't hang quite as nice. But that could just be me, and I can't dangle these for you because you wouldn't be able to tell. But anyway, I'm going to try to make 2 of them today, so you can hopefully make one for yourself if you decide. They really are simple. It's just that, you know, once we get on camera, everything that could go wrong does go wrong. So I'm hoping that nothing goes wrong. All right, so this is my embroidery floss. I'm going to do pink and blue. And first I'm going to remove this paper. And I'm going to lay this out. This is 6 inches long, so I want to tie this in the middle. Right about at 3 inches. I'm going to leave that one out because it's... So I'm just using my grid because it's with the embroidery floss with the it's going to just be, you know, one length, and if they're not even, then you have to trim it, and it takes even more off the length. With the crochet thread, you can really make them any length you want to. But I think between 4 to 4.5 inches, maybe 5 inches, is as long as they really need to be. But, you know, again, that's entirely up to you. You might see it differently, and that's, you know, that's what we're all about. We do things, we learn to do something, and then we do it our way. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to try to tie this off in the middle. I want it to be as even as it can be. So I'm just going to, and then I'm going to tie another knot. Okay. Now, I could cut the ends of this if I want to, or I can wait until I'm a little bit more finished. The other thing I could do right now is, whoops, I didn't tie that tight enough, is let me tie another knot. The other thing I could do is go ahead and kind of tie my the top of it off, the little head, or we can wait until we're all done with it. You know, that's not anything that has to be done right now. And of course, well, it looks even on here, but I don't think it is. We're just going to see what we get. All right. So I think I'm going to wait and do that after I get my beads on. So I've got some beads here picked out. I've got some oh, what do they call them, Maggie? Spacers, if I want to use them. I may or may not use them. It depends on how it looks. And this is kind of a trial and error kind of thing. You put, it's kind of like you audition the beads. You know, unless you know right away what you want. You kind of put them on and see how they're going to look, and then you can tie them off or do whatever you're going to want to do to them. So I've got an embroidery needle here. And since I can see it, but getting this embroidery thread through, because you know there's several little strands in here. Whoops. And I have just a plain little needle threader, which I like a lot better, but I can't find it. All right. So I want to come up through the center of this. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, because this needs to be tied off. So I'm going to come up through the center. And I'm going to tie this off so our beads don't come off. And make sure I've got enough to go all the way through the beads and then come back down. And sometimes it's easier if you use a different color thread to do than what you're actually working with. because these strands get lost in each other, and so do your knots. All right, so I'm just going to tie a knot here. Another knot. Okay. Now hopefully this will be enough. I'm going to take this bracelet off. Okay, so with this, your needle wants to be big enough that you can get whatever thread you're using, get it threaded, but narrow enough to get through the beads. So I think I might put the sparkly one on first. And I think I will use the spacer. This is where my tweezers would come in handy. Now these little spacers have little sparkles in them. So I'm going to use that. And then I think I'll use this sparkly bead. Now how cute would these be, even as a purse dangle or hanging off a present? Definitely on the spine of a journal. So cute. And then do I want this one? I don't know. It might be too big. The hole might be too big. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to just back it off. And I think I'll just use this pale pink one. Okay. Now I'm going to put another spacer on. Just these add just a little bit of extra sparkle. And I've got one of these little beads that I'm really liking to put on the top. They come in a, I thought they were bigger beads when I ordered them, and when I got them I thought, what in the world am I going to do with these? And then I thought, well, I can use them when I bead my spine, which I can do because there's a lot of them. Now on this one, I'm going to put one of these. This came from Amazon. I got a whole great big package of them when I first started making dangles, so I've had them for about 1.5 years, I would say. It came with these. It came with, oh, I don't have one with me, but they're kind of, I don't know what, they're kind of the same thing, a claw hook. It just looks different. They're kind of oval shaped in a way. And so I'm going to use this right here. I could just put a jump ring on and then put this inside, but I don't want to mess with the having to open and close the so I'm just going to use this. Now whatever you put here, whether it's just a jump ring, and I do like to use the bigger size, not the little itty bitty one. Whoops. Can you see that? I can't see it in the camera, but I hope you can. I don't know how many millimeters it is, but I've got this little box of jump rings, this little case, and it's the largest one. And they come in gold and silver, and I'm sure you can get them in other colors too. I think that came from Amazon as well when I first started making charms and you know, started to make tassels. I've only made maybe 3 tassels that are on journals that I really did like. I think I was just using the wrong materials. You know, you've got to be using the wrong material, the right material. So when you get to the bottom, Oh, I was gonna put a little pink bow in here. I forgot. Oh well. When you get to the bottom, you need to find one of these strings that you knotted it with. So I'm gonna go make sure this is nice and tight. If this isn't tight, if you don't pull it tight, your beads are gonna just, you know, be all loosey-goosey. You don't want that. You want them all together, so you have to pull this nice and tight. I wish I could find the actual other end. Is this it? Oh Lord, now I'm losing all my ends. I need to pull this nice and tight. Okay. I'm going to tie this off again. I hope I'm staying in frame. I'm sorry if I'm not. I'm trying my best to. So how's everybody doing? This is Sunday evening for me. It means that everybody's weekend is coming to a close, and if you're a Monday morning person, you have to be somewhere or do something. I'm sure you're winding down your day somewhat. It's only 6:30, but it looks like it's midnight out. Okay, so here we are so far. All right, so now I'm going to I've got some little loops that are kind of caught up on each other here. All right, now behave yourself. Well, maybe I can straighten it out after we get it tied off. Okay, so the very last step, and the way I do it, at least the way I'm going to do it right now. There we go. Is to try to tie this off up here. And I really need a longer piece of string. Well, I don't think that this is long enough, but I'm going to use it. I'm just going to cut it off. Yeah, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Now, because my string isn't long enough, I'm just going to tie this. It's not going to look right, really. You need a longer piece of string so you can wrap around this. It looks so much better when you do that. But I can go back in and once I find some string that matches it and do it after the fact. Oh, that didn't tie tight at all. Well, jumping Jehoshaphat. So I went with my daughter and I played with the baby a little bit. She's so cute. Oh, you know I love her to pieces. I love that baby to pieces. I never got with my other 3 grandchildren to spend the kind of time with them because I was working in California and they lived in Michigan, and I did go back to see them frequently. I really did. But you know, it wasn't enough time. It's not like with this one, I get to see her every single day and spend time with her, and it's such a blessing beyond measure. One of the greatest blessings of my life. And I can only be extremely grateful. All right, so this needs more work up here, but for now, we're going to leave it. I'm going to do my best to tie this off. To cut these down here. I have a feeling it's going to need some trimming, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not sure what's going on here. This one's got to just be cut on its own. I don't know, it escaped the bundle. Maybe I can use it to tie it around the middle. What is going on here? Well, that knot that I had up there came completely undone. Completely. So I'll have to tie that off again, but let me just get these trimmed off. There goes my scissors. You know what we got dangling here? Oh my goodness, what a mess this is. But it can all be fixed. So, this is what she looks like without the little, I think they call it a head when you make this, because it does look like a little head. I've actually seen people make little yarn dolls like this. So you can tie this off. I will tie this off, I'm just not going to do it now. So this is one. Very pretty. All right, and now we're going to do the blue one after I clean up some of my mess here. Okay. So I pulled my string out earlier. I tried my best to have everything ready as much as I could. All right, so this one, It's got some loop-de-loops that are trying to do their own thing here. I do think if you have, maybe you have a hoard of like DMC that you're not using anymore, would probably work somewhat better than this, because this, you know, they might be, the skeins might have been wound a little bit more well divided or something, I don't know. But this works just fine. It doesn't have to be expensive. I think where your real investment is in this are your beads. And you can check that out for yourself. Like I said, Amazon, if I had an Amazon storefront, I would link them for you. But they do have, like I said, for $19, $20, where you can get a couple hundred beads. These large beads, and then there's some of the smaller ones mixed in with them for that price, which, considering that otherwise if you buy a set, say you buy a set of pink or a set of blue or whatever, a Christmas set, they're going to be between $9 and $15 for maybe 50 or 60 beads. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. I know that's an investment, and you need more. You know, you have to have more colors than just blue if you want to make these on a regular basis and mix up the colors and so forth. You really do have to have enough beads that you can do that. Now I've got some loops that are all wackadoodle. And this is very slippery stuff. I mean, it just does not, the knots don't want to stay tight. I'm not liking that. Okay, so I'm going to try to leave this, these two strings free, and then tie my I know in one of the videos that I watched, you know, the roll that she used was about a third of the way down. When I was making other tassels, I just went maybe about an inch or so. So you can just eyeball it and see where you think it would look good. I don't think there's, you know, everybody does it their own way. Okay, so I'm going to take one piece of the thread and go around this way as snugly as I can, maybe 3 to 5 times. I don't generally count it, and then I'm going to grab the other one and I'm going to go around this way. And we're just going to tie a knot here. Now, if it's easier for you to wait till after you've got the beads and everything on, you can do that. Okay. All right. So now we're going to rethread our needle. And sew our beads on. Hello. I hope I got enough string. I do this every time. I've got this really sparkly one. I kind of like to put the flashiest one on the bottom. If I had some smaller beads, I would add them in. But I don't have any in this color. Okay, so on this one I'm just going to put a jump ring. Whoops, don't escape on me. So you want to get that jump ring back up here. Come on. And then you want to make sure when you go back through that jump ring, you've got thread around it. Or I mean, so it's sitting on the, and you just want to go back through. Look, this is going to be so close. I'm gonna this one thread is so short. I either have too much thread or I don't have enough. I guess I don't know. I guess I just don't judge it. All right, I think we're good. So let me cut the bottom of this. Yeah, if I can get my fingers in here. So I hope this video was helpful. If you want me to do another one in a few days, if this doesn't help you, if I made it too confusing or whatever, let me know and I will do it again. I don't have a problem with that. Now somehow I need to get these threads secured in here. Oh, there's more loops that did not get cut. There's another one. Okay. So what I would do here, I've got more of this string here. See how these threads, because I had to tie the knot up at the top, the ideal thing is to tie it in the middle so you can get those threads underneath. So what I can do is just try to tie this off again. I saw this gadget today. It wasn't expensive, it was on Michael's. It was like $14, I think, but it zaps the end of your thread to cut it, and then it kind of sears it as well. And I'm wondering if that works like on ribbon, when you want to cut your ribbon, and some ribbons tend to unravel. All right, so try to straighten her hair, do a little bit. Let's see if I got a ribbon, because this one I think would look best with a ribbon around it. So let me know if this video was helpful. Let me know if it wasn't helpful at all. Let me know if you think you could make one now, because if you don't feel that way, then I didn't do a good job at all. So the purpose in doing this is to help you so that you can make your own if you want to. There we go. This still needs some trimming. You know, it's like fixing a lady's hairdo. Sometimes you have to play with it a little bit. It doesn't lay perfect at first. You got to give it a little help. And my bow certainly isn't working. All right, so we made 2. You should be able to make one of these in about 15 minutes or less, you know. So here, this one just has a jump ring, but I can add one of these by opening my jump ring, or I can just put a bulb pen through it to hang up from something. You could put a keychain loop on it, you know, if you wanted to make it into like a purse holder. Or, you know, this little clasp here could actually be a purse dangle. but my primary reason for making them was to put on my journals, and they're going to compete now with my beaded spines, because I'm really enjoying that as well. But these are so cute, I think, and they're really not difficult to make. I had some problems with this embroidery floss, but nothing that can't be fixed or can't be managed. So I hope you like this video. I really hope it was helpful. If it was or it wasn't, please let me know. If it wasn't helpful, I do not mind doing it over again. I truly don't, because like I said, I'm new at doing tutorials, or a facsimile of a tutorial. So I don't mind the constructive criticism one little bit. If it was helpful, let me know that too. Let me know if you think it, because it really is easy. You know, you just kind of play with your yarn and get your loops all lined up and tie them off and add your beads. So there you go. I hope you like this. If you did, like I said, give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you feel like you could make one of these or not, like you need more instructions. I will list the videos of both of the other creators that I got the inspiration from, and you can watch those as well. So I think that's it. I'm gonna get off of here. Be kind to those around you. Find one thing to be grateful for. And do something that makes you happy, that brings joy to your life. My biggest joy today was spending time with my granddaughter and watching her play and do silly little things that 10-month-old babies do when they're playing. So, and also my joy was attempting to bring this to you. And it may not have, well, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I brought this to you. I hope it was helpful, and if it's not, you'll let me know, right? We're friends, so don't not tell me because you don't want to hurt my feelings. You're not going to hurt my feelings, and and you know, we learn that way. That's how we learn and we grow. So, all right, I love you all. I really love you all, and I appreciate each one of you. Whether you're new or you've been with me for a long time, I appreciate you so very much. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Bye, everyone. I love you. Bye-bye.